excited to be with you. I've journeyed with you, I want to say over a year at this point, and you have been one of my illustrious partnership VIP clients who has the keys to the queendom of all things, where we are joined at the hip to grow you as a human, grow your business, and grow whatever dream that you have. And I would love to explore what the experience has been like together, if you're good with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, awesome. So let's start at the very beginning. Let's go back. Let's go way back into time. Where were you business-wise, personal-wise, when you decided to connect with me or before we started working together?
Personally, I was in a space where I felt like I was not being myself. I was not really showing up in my true, just Alex. I knew something was missing, and I had been trying a lot of different things. And finally, I said, okay, I need to get serious about this. And then in my business, I was still unsure. So it was an area where, so I am a CPA by trade, and that's been my identity for a really long time, doing taxes, but I know that's not really where my passion lies. And so when I started, it was knowing that that's not what I want to do, but can I really trust myself to really step into my power and be the financial empowerment coach that I desire? And so I was in that space of just not being sure, questioning myself, all the things, not wanting to release certain things. So yeah, a year ago feels so long ago.
It does. It's a lifetime ago, because you're a whole new woman and business owner now, which is so amazing to look back at what you were thinking. So, and it's interesting because you mentioned in your personal life, you weren't really being yourself. And then in your business life, you were navigating that gap between, because you'd already quit your 9 to 5, right?
Yes.
At that point, when we started working together, which that takes some courage and some bravery. And naturally, when we do shift from employee to solopreneur, there is a bit of a weird wobbly space. And you blend that with you not really being yourself personally, then you really don't have the self-efficacy and what's the word I'm looking for? You don't really have the self-trust.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Now put the business out there. Would you say that's accurate?
100%. And it's so interesting that you said self-trust, because that is definitely something that over this last year I've gained, is the ability to tap into what it is that I desire and trusting myself more. Like, I still have some, a little bit of work to do, but when I tell you it's night and day, it is night and day. I think back to even our first call, just my swag is different. The way I speak is different. The way I feel about myself is different. Like, I'm walking in boss energy, and that it literally night and day. My confidence has improved. How I show up and represent who I am is different. You say, like, a year ago, I'm not the same person. I'm not. I am totally different.
Hello, let me introduce you to the Alex Davis. Yes.
Correct.
So can we chat through a before and after?
Okay.
Give me an example or some characteristics of what you were when you weren't being yourself. Like, for example, I would do or be or say blah, but now this new improved night and day you does and says and is this.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. I'm talking, this will be a client scenario. Meet with a client. I say, this is how you can work with me. They say, oh no, I don't want that. Can you do this? This would be my response. Oh, sure. Yeah. No, I'm sure I can. Yeah, I can probably figure that. Yeah, no, I can. Yeah, I can do that. Now I actually don't offer that service anymore. I can certainly give you some referral options, or if you'd like to explore this option with me, we can see how we can make it work for you. So that's the difference. Before, I'm all trying, oh yeah, no, I can make this work, where it was really putting myself out to accommodate someone else, even though that's not really what I wanted to do. And so now it's more standing in, no, this is Alex, this is what we said we're doing right now. So these are the options, and that's that. And if it's almost like take it or leave it type of thing.
Boundaries are beautiful. Leadership is powerful. And I love the distinction of even the your voice tone and your body language, like, okay, yeah, let's figure this out. Like that frantic, I need this. So I'm trying to contort myself and figure it out versus I have such clarity on
Mhm.
who I am, what I can do best. And since you do your best work always, then this is the lane I'm staying in. And that type of clarity is amazing because would never walk into Ben and Jerry's and be like, can you do Haagen-Dazs? And they'd be like, hold on, we'll send somebody to run over and get that ice cream. Be like, nah, you at Ben and Jerry's. These are the flavors.
Yeah, correct.
Powerful. That is so, so, so powerful. So what would you say was most impactful with our work together for you?
The support for me. So I could be a little bit dramatic. I recognize that about myself. So I'm like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, but you were always like a message away or even a phone call. I specifically remember my grandma passed away last year and I'm in the museum crying, just a mess, couldn't contain myself. I reached out to you and you're like, can we hop on a call? You meditated with me, you gave me some resources, and I just felt really supported. And for me, that was everything. And then also a healthy challenge. You do not let me play small. You definitely will call me out and like, hey, no, we're not doing that. So sometimes you snatch me up by my edges, and I also needed that. So it was the feeling supported, but at the same time, knowing that you will gather me when I need to be together. And that was great for me because, you know, I've done a lot on my own, which is exceptional and great. But then having another person who sees even the bigness that I haven't quite seen yet myself to where you were comfortable and saying like, no, you can do this. Let's go for this. And so that was really, really so helpful for me.
Yeah, I love hearing that. That's exactly what the partnership VIP is created for. It's when a solopreneur, business owner, leader is ready to invest at that level, and it's not a cheap level. You know, I've got levels to this. This is the level for the space where we are arms locked and you're a holistic being in my world, which is why it's only reserved for a few people, which is why I could be there for you in that space after your grandmother passed. I remember that vividly. And the ability to be there to foster and pour into and love on all parts of you creates and paves the path for you to lead in the way that you are. So to hear that was absolutely a key component. It makes my heart smile because that's my intention with the partnership VIP level of playing in the limitless space. So let's talk success. And thinking over the last year, and you tried a bunch of things, done a bunch of things, what would you say is your biggest, most significant success since starting our journey together?
My biggest one for me is owning my financial empowerment coach, because I've been holding on to this CPA identity for a really long time. And while, yes, I still offer tax strategies and reviewing business formation, which is cool, and I love helping clients with that, I don't offer tax services in that capacity anymore. And it was very difficult for me to say that for a really, really, really long time. And in fact, it's probably just in the last month as our partnership was ending that I was like, no, I'm a financial empowerment coach. And I feel good. I know that I'm walking in my gift. And so for me, that's been the biggest shift, because what I know is that when you are walking in your gift, when you are unapologetic by what you do, the money comes. It comes. It's when
Say it again.
you're
Say that
all like,
again.
oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Or, oh, and then it's like you're blocking it. And so for me to really stand here today, I'm a financial empowerment coach. For that has probably been my biggest success.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting because then when we first started, not even when we first started, when you found me on LinkedIn, what was that, 2019?
Oh gosh, yeah, 2019.
Yeah. And we spoke then. And I probably still have the notes from that conversation. You said in that space, your vision that you're now fully taken ownership of. I remember you mentioning I have a passion to educate. I have a passion to
Yes.
educate underserved communities because I came from that space and that world and have figured this money thing out, this wealth thing out. And I want my business to look like that. And that was the time when we spoke. You were still working full time in a CPA firm. I
Yes.
remember at that point, my investment to work with me was like half of what you invested later. Should have said yes then. No, I'm just kidding. But you weren't ready. And that was okay. But what's
Yes.
beautiful is the seed that you planted in speaking that desire and that vision, plant that vibratory intention set. And then when you were ready and when the time aligned for us to work together, you were ready. Because even if we maybe started down that path to tease that vision out, you may not have been ready. You hadn't left yet your corporate
Yeah.
gig. You needed to get to a place where you were in position and in that gray area of, okay, I know I've got these skills of a CPA, it's comfortable, it's easy for me to lean on, but actually I have these. And our path paves the way. You're not leaving behind those skills just because you're taking ownership of an enhanced version of yourself. So to watch you step into that is so super powerful. And I'm so excited for you. 2 last questions. One is, what would you say to someone watching us chat who is at a space where they're in between, knowing that they have a desire, a deep desire to transform, to elevate, to shift, to take a hold of something that's been stirring and wanting to leave or just left the area and they're just wobbly and they're thinking about investing, especially investing at significant levels. What would you say to someone on the fence in that space of, is this the right thing for me to do?
Whew. I would say, just from my experience, if you've gotten to this point where you're like, ooh, I think I want to invest, do it. And the reason I say that is because in 2019 is when I found Bridget. And at the time I was like, ooh, I can't really afford it. And it wasn't, I mean, the reality is it wasn't that I couldn't afford it. It was, I don't really want to pay that. And then when I look back at it, I thought of how silly it was. I was like, I didn't want to pay to change my life. I didn't want to pay to stop reliving being on this hamster wheel of getting up in the morning and doing the exact same thing that I don't want to do. Like, I'm putting a price on that. It's kind of priceless. And so if it's coming up and it's in your spirit, you want to reach out and ask your questions. Don't sit and have these conversations in your head. Because one, I know for one thing with me is I was like, man, I wish I could have asked that. And it's like, no, ask the questions, get on the phone, find out what the options are. Because you cannot, I'm not gonna say you cannot, you can absolutely do this on your own, but it takes a lot longer. When I look at the person I was a year ago versus now, it is night and day. And the really good thing about the partnership is it's not just Bridget that you get access to. It's also the women that she's attached to. It's the communities that you find out that didn't exist. I can't thank Bridget enough for introducing me to just Tony Jones. Like, listening to her. So it's just like, when you are out here trying to fumble and do things yourself, especially, I'm saying this as one of these successful women, we're used to doing everything ourselves. We got it, we can do it. But when you get around people who are doing things that you desire to do, they're clearly doing something that you don't know about, or you would be where they're at. And so it's serve yourself. Like, sometimes we really have to get out of this, oh, this costs too much, or this, whatever it is, or I don't have time. You better figure out the time, or you'll be singing the same sad song a year from now. And it just doesn't make sense to me to do that. And so if you're considering it, it means that something has been planted in you that's just like, oh my gosh, I think this may be my person. And if this is your person that's going to support you in finally getting over the hurdle that most likely, because if you're anything like me, and we attract like-minded people, you've been tripping over this hurdle over and over again. Quit tripping and get help.
That could be its own commercial. Quit tripping and get help.
But seriously, I'm like, that is so old, trying to figure it out yourself. And when I tell you I'm so sick of trying to figure it, no. Who can I get to help me with this?
That's it. That's it. And speaking from a fellow lone wolf who loves being resourceful by myself and who's recently started to lean into support and how good that feels and how fast things happen. Ooh. So thank you for sharing that. So Alex, please share with the people what you specialize in and how they can find you, because you also could help them sort out the money that they think they don't have to invest in whatever it is their pleasure is, because you are the money maven, the queen of all things cash and coins. Please
Yes.
talk to us about what it is that you do, what magic do you put in the world, and how can people find you? Because I know they want to.
Yeah, I'm a success coach. When I tell you I have this keen sense of just identifying and zeroing in on your talent and being able to bring it out, like, so I'm able to hone in on that. But more importantly, I get your money right. Because a lot of times when your money is looking a little funny, you're stressed, you don't know what to do. And so I really support my clients in getting real with their numbers and then mapping out a strategic plan to make their dreams happen. And so that's one area. And then the other area how I support my clients is business owners. We're great at our craft, but sometimes on the formation side, I support my clients in getting that organized, because we're about scaling legacy businesses, and you need to have those finances in order to do so.
Yes, so honey, if there's one thing I've learned from you just by proxy, is how money and having a container for it that's organized to receive more amounts of it, and to know the game of it, and to lean into people like you who understand the game of it, that make it simple and fun, is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
So where can they find you, Alex, and
Yes.
get their money together?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Alexandria Chanel _CPA. And then you can find me on Facebook at Alex Davis. So that's how you can get in touch with me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alex, for sharing your journey and sharing yourself with me. It has been a treasure that I will remember always.
Yes. Thank you, Bridget.